Hello friends, Christian here with BrickLifeCrisis. This channel is recommended for adult fans of LEGO and teen fans of LEGO. If you are younger than the age of 13, you're welcome to watch, but first, get your parents' permission. Hello friends, Christian here with BrickLifeCrisis again, and today we're taking a look at 3 different Mega Construx Masters of the Universe sets. We have 3 different Skeletor skulls, and inside we have Trapjaw, Heman, and Fisto. Let's go ahead and open them up, build them up, and see what we think. Alright, and here we have them, the Mega Construx Masters of the Universe skull cases. There are 3 different sets here. One with Fisto, one with Heman, and one with Lockjaw. Let's go ahead and take a look at each of these one by one. Alright, so first up we have the one with Heman, and this is kind of a gold skull on the Skeletor there. Pretty cool, and it does separate from the plate over here, and of course you can take this off of the top, so if you wanted to, you could just display the skull by itself, which is pretty cool. On the inside there is a 2x2 plate with a little hook in there that you can store He-Man's power sword in, and then the plate itself can act as the back of the skull, and you can store all the pieces inside of it. So it works as a display piece, and it also works as a storage solution, so that's kind of cool. As for the figure, he's a fairly basic He-Man figure. He looks pretty good. Same articulation as a typical Mega Construx figure. There are a couple of kind of rock pieces here. His armor has a space for the power sword to be sheathed. Yeah, that's about it. The armor is removable. Of course, the sword is removable. And then the spiked bracelet on the one side is removable. And that's it for the He-Man figure himself. Looks pretty good though, I think. So this set also included this kind of airspeeder skiff thing. So the He-Man figure can stand on the back here and hold on to the handlebars and just kind of fly along. Mega Construx does not use stickers anymore, so any of these decorated elements with the red stripes, for example, are all prints, which is a kind of a nice thing. Let's go ahead and put the He-Man on there so you can get an idea of what it looks like. So there we have He-Man on the skiff, and the handlebar seems a bit too large. It's way too high. I mean, his arms are up at shoulder level, and you can barely see over the top of the thing. In fact, from a low angle, he does not even look over the top. So you might want to modify the build on this a little bit so that the handlebar is a little bit shallower and it might work better. Otherwise, it's not a bad build. Yeah, either He-Man's too small or the handlebar piece is too big. Alright, next up we have the Fisto Cliff Climber. This is probably my least favorite as far as the build part goes. I'll show you the figure here in just a moment, but I want to point out that I think this is Skeleglow or Scareglow, or anyway, this is not Skeletor, but Scareglow, I think is what it's called. Anyway, the head mold glows here, which is kind of unique, kind of cool, and the red of the eyes make it kind of interesting as well. On the top of this, there is this kind of bulb kind of thing up here with some trans blue stuff, and the idea is that you would wrap the grappling hook around that, and then you can kind of climb up the side. Alright, so this is Fisto with his climbing gear on. It's a really strange backpack, helmet, almost a partial mech thing going on. There's like this window here at the front so you can see through, but on the top there's this winch with a hook on it, and he's supposed to be able to climb. And then they give him these kind of goofy looking climbing shoes. I don't really understand what they're supposed to be. They're just kind of silly. If we take all that stuff off, though, we can get a better look at the actual figure. Alright, and here we have Fisto without all his gear. He's got some purple boots and like a black sleeveless shirt, purple waist piece. Then he has that giant fist or gauntlet on his one arm. The other arm is normal. But the figure itself is pretty good. It's got a decent face sculpt, beard and everything. It just looks silly with all the gear on, I think. Now he does have this kind of armor piece that you could put on him. So you put that on, and I guess it's a different look, but I don't like the exposed studs on him. I think it looks kind of silly. And then those are also on the back. And even then, it just looks really large and unwieldy, so I think it looks better without any of the extra stuff. The best part about this particular set, I think, is this weapons rack. The rack itself is nothing big, but it's nice to have this kind of laser rifle and the pole axe, a sword, and a mace. It's just kind of nice to have some extra accessories. The build for this thing is pretty simple, but it's not really about the build, it's about the weapons. Alright, so that was the Fisto Cliff Climber. And finally we have Trapjaw. Now this guy is kind of interesting. First of all, the figure is pretty decent. We'll take a closer look at him in a second. But one of the things that's most interesting about him is he has this kind of robotic arm with interchangeable hands. So this one that's on there right now is kind of a blaster. Then he has something that looks kind of like a fly swatter, a claw, and a hook. So you can choose which of those you want to put on him. Now the Skeletor here is a little bit more like what we're used to, with the purple and the white or kind of cream colored skull and some purple eyes. You turn that around, there's some very interesting stuff on the inside. This is by far the most interesting build of all three. We have this kind of, I don't know if it's supposed to be a computer console or something, but there are two big 3x3 printed tiles with kind of an outer space scene with a couple of planets and nebula and clouds and moons and stars and all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of interesting. There's also an extra bolt for this cannon piece, the artillery piece here. This is on a hinge, so it can move up and down a bit, and there are some handles that your figures can hang on to. There is a bolt shooter in here, so what happens is if you push down on this lever, it'll shoot the bolt, kind of like the spring-loaded shooters that Lego uses. And then we have a double barrel brick-built cannon, and yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure now. Alright, so this is Trapjaw. I think I might have called him Lockjaw in the opening, but this is Trapjaw. He has that robotic arm with the interchangeable appendages. He has a kind of a cool armored piece around that shoulder and a metallic belt with some kind of an insignia down there. Almost looks like a skull and crossbones or something. His headpiece is kind of interesting, and the jaw is articulated. So you can actually move it up and down a little bit, which is kind of cool. It's got some kind of reddish boots and waist piece, light green skin, and yeah, not too bad. And let's go ahead and change out some of those pieces to see what it looks like. So here we have one of those days where everything's just kind of bugging you. Now you can swat away your troubles with this fly swatter. And here he has this kind of claw piece that looks like it could do some damage. And then here we have a hook for a hand. So interesting. I think I like the blaster bit best, but this is alright. Reminds me of Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And this is what they all look like when they are all closed up with all the pieces inside. This is that play base, everything's inside. So they store nicely, but they look pretty good on display, just like this. So that's about it for these guys. They retail for about $10 each here in the US. I was able to pick them up at my local Walmart. I think they were $9.97. The only other place I've seen them was on a collectible site online. The name of it I forget, but they were selling it as a case of 6, so you would get 2 each, and the case was $60, so you didn't even get any kind of discount. So anyway, I'm glad I was able to find these at regular retail at Walmart. I don't know that they are necessarily worth the $10 each. I think this one with the lockjaw figure is the best. I really like that. The cannon is pretty good, but I like that computerized thing that's on the other side. This, I think, is my least favorite. The figure's okay, but his accessory stuff, I mean the climbing rig is lame. I do like the weapons rack though. And then this one, again, without modifying that speeder, it's just a little bit too tall for He-Man, but the He-Man figure is a good classic figure. All of these you can disassemble and store in the skulls, so that's kind of convenient. They have their own built-in storage, and they look pretty good on display as is. Anyway, this has been Christian with BrickLifeCrisis. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave us a like. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.